Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting podcast of The Aura, Algoma University Radio. We are so happy to be here with you in the booth. Today is a very special episode because today is a special, period. It's something that we've been working on to bring to you guys. It's an interview format we got going, and we got a very special guest in the booth with us. He actually just stepped in. Oh my gosh! Is that the president?
Oh my goodness, it is!
God, I think that's the president of Algoma.
How are you, Mr.
Richard,
Myers?
would you step in here, please? Oh, don't be shit.
I'd be glad to, fellas. What are you up to, by the way?
Oh, we're just recording, and we wanted to do something special today, and we're actually so happy you passed by. We had no idea.
Oh,
I was looking for the washroom. Where is that?
Just across the hall, sir. But
can you answer first? Left, you're on the right. I get it now. Okay.
But if you don't mind, would you be open to answering a few questions of ours?
Well, of course I would.
I love this guy. Great guy. Rich.
All right.
Okay. Thank you for coming into the booth today. John, could you start us off with some questions for the dear president here?
So before we begin, we want to get to know you a little bit better.
On a personal level.
On a more personal level. Don't worry too much about it. We want you to tell us a little bit more about yourself. Just a little bit more.
Some things that we don't know yet, It's like, who are you when you're not the president? What do you...
Exactly.
You want to know?
Exactly it.
Well, I guess my second job is to be Elizabeth's daddy. I've got a 3-year-old. You see her at the basketball games.
Met her. Great girl. Love her.
I think probably it's fair to say that whenever I'm not at Algoma, we're looking after her.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Trading one baby for another. Just joking. We're good. We're growing.
All right. So, what is your favorite hobby?
What is my favorite hobby?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like a few things. As you probably know, I enjoy basketball.
Yes,
I try to get out and shoot around in the gym most mornings.
Really?
Before
I
I
didn't
go to
know
work.
that.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're not there at 6:30.
No, I'm sleeping.
It's kind of fun, though. I like that. I go over to the George Leach, and there's a regular crew of people who are there. Most of them are retired. And, the thing that really surprised me when I first started doing that was a lot of the regulars there. I mean, some of them are... one guy, Fred, he's 87.
Whoa.
And he's out there every morning working very hard.
That's amazing.
Ivan is another guy, he's had surgery and all that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
very disciplined, and they're all great people, and they love seeing each other and joking with each other, and so it's quite fun to do that each morning when I can.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
6:30 is early.
That's really early.
You rise at like 5:30 in the morning?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. That's a good full night's sleep. It's a good thing she's not... Is Elizabeth still crying at home? Like, do you get woke up?
Are you kidding? My daughter never cries.
Really? Hey! That's funny.
All right. So, tell us a funny story about Algoma U. So, any kind of like funny moment that's happened in the past couple years, that you can think off the top of your head.
Just a funny moment.
A funny moment at Algoma.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if sometimes the funny things you can't really share publicly.
Oh, yeah.
I always talk about when I'll go back to my basketball team, and that is so one Saturday morning. Saturday I don't go down at 6:30. We don't take Elizabeth into daycare and so on. So usually I don't make it down there until 9 o'clock or something. Usually there aren't many people there, but one morning Thomas and his team showed up for some reason. It was fairly early in the season. This was, last year.
Okay.
And this one new player, they're shooting down on the far end, and I'm at the other end, and all of a sudden this one guy comes down, he dribbles around a little bit, and takes a shot, and then he comes over to me and says, "Is it true you're the president?" And I said, "Yeah, actually it is." He says, "Oh, what do you say we play for my tuition, double or nothing?" And I said, "Yeah, I don't think that'd be a good idea." And then, of course, at the end of the season, after I'd seen him play all year and noticed that he hits about 40% of his foul shots, I said to him, "Do you remember when you and I first met and you said we should play one-on-one for your tuition, double or nothing?" He said, "Oh, yeah, I sort of remember that." I said, "Yeah. Well, if I'd seen you play, I would have said, why don't we shoot foul shots?"
Poor guy, shooting like Shaq.
Shooting like Shaq. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
That's funny.
We won't say his name publicly.
We won't do that.
That's too funny.
Well, as I say, most of the funny stories, you kind of think, yeah, I can't tell people that publicly.
Yeah. That's true.
All
Oh my
right,
God.
so Caleb, do you want to get us started into the
I would love to.
real good questions?
This is the first heartfelt question we've got from a student here at Algoma, which is this. What is the
Question really
one
comes down to
major
what do we
aspect
need
of
to
Algoma
change, because
University
I think
that you want to
the
change
worst thing
in the
that
future
you can
that
do
would
as
the
president
rest
is
of
come
us?
in and tell people you need to change this or you need to change that.
Yeah.
So it's a question of motivating the community to work together
Yeah.
to do the things that we need to do to be a more successful university.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say this. I usually talk about Algoma as being a special university in the sense that it's kind of like an opportunity university.
Okay.
We take pride in being the kind of place that likes to give people a chance, people who we think have the aptitude to benefit from university education. We want to be flexible to get them to come here and give that a whirl.
Yeah.
I think what we probably have to do as an institution is ensure that, given that's our approach to things, we have to be, the best place in the country in terms of providing all of the supports that we need
Yeah.
to maximize the chances that our students will succeed.
Okay.
I think we do a pretty good job of that.
Yeah.
But there's always room for improvement. And if you were to ask me one thing that we should focus on to improve the place, I think it would be in terms of supporting our students, especially one of the things that you find is really unique. Only about 2/3 of our students come here direct from high school.
Really?
Most of them are what you would call a non-traditional student. They're not coming direct from high school. They may be transferring from college or transferring from another school, or they're mature students who don't have the normal requirements to get in and so on. And so, I think it's particularly important for us to ensure that we support students like that.
Yeah.
We probably need to develop some good transition programming, stronger academic supports and things like that.
Sweet. Okay. So like you're talking about like for example workshops and like the learning center to help like students just I guess get used to life at Algoma and just give them the tools they need to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about giving people the tools they need to succeed, and also providing the support. We do that, in terms of making things available. But sometimes you wonder, well, you can say we have these things available.
Yeah.
Who comes to take advantage of them?
Yeah.
Often it's the students who probably least need them that
take advantage of
are
it.
coming to take advantage of it, and the ones
Yeah.
who most need them
They don't know
are
about
not
it,
doing
or
that.
they're not doing it.
So that would be something I think we should work on.
Yeah.
Another thing that strikes me, I mean, you asked for one, so I'm going to cheat, and here's the danger, right? You get me talking.
Oh,
All of a sudden,
sorry,
oh.
we're interested. Continue.
No.
Well, the other thing I think we need to work on is student life.
Okay.
And I've been, delighted to see that you guys are doing these podcasts, not only because it is a student activity, but more specifically because what you talk about is, in fact, student life. And
Yeah.
generating interest in not just what you're doing, but everything that happens around the university. So that's very valuable to us. When I came here, the data showed that 70% of our students were local students from Sault Ste. Marie, and they lived at home.
Oh wow.
Really?
That's
And
That's
I didn't
changed.
realize.
It has changed quite a bit.
That's
Now,
dramatic.
here's one of the consequences of having what in the the business we would call a commuter campus. When they interviewed me for the job, I'd never even been here, and we turned to the topic of student life, and I said, "Let me guess, student life at Algoma is not great." And they said, "Yeah, you could probably say that." I said, people probably show up for class, and by 3 o'clock the campus is empty. Yeah, pretty. Well, how do you know that? I said, well, it's fairly simple. The data shows that all of your students are local, so they live at home, and that means that they already have well-established networks of friends and activities and so on.
Yeah.
So university is really just the place where they take their classes. They drive in, take their classes, and go home.
Yeah.
At any university, it is typically the people who've come there from away who end up really animating the place, because they have to build a whole new life for themselves, from scratch with all the other people who've just moved there.
Yeah.
So, you come here from somewhere else and you're thinking, okay, so I need to make some friends and what can I do and all that kind of stuff. You don't have a kind of network to fall back on. So it was important right from the start to work very hard to get more students from out of town and to get some international students. No surprise to me, in the last couple of years, you looked at the student union leadership and you see, lots of international students.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprising in the sense that, people who come from somewhere else are very keen to, build a new life for themselves here. That's what we see. I think student life has improved quite a bit now that we've got the new residents, more people around all the time and so on, but we still got a long way to go. We've added things like the OUA varsity sports. That's an example of the sort of thing that we need to do, but we need to do a lot more. So congratulations to you guys for getting us started with campus radio.
Well, thank you.
We are honored to do so.
Yes.
John, can you take us away with the next question?
All right. So are there any coming changes the next year that the students should be excited about? So kind of like just newer things that, they're just going to be like, oh, wow, yeah, the school's going to now have that, basically kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Is there anything off the top of your head that you can kind of think of?
Well, there are a couple of things. And they're interconnected. When we did move to Ontario University Athletics, or CIS at the national level, one requirement was that we needed to upgrade our athletic facilities. You probably know, Caleb, that we're sort of in that embarrassing situation. We don't actually have locker rooms.
No, we don't.
When the men's and women's basketball teams roll in from Queens, we have to close the locker rooms for regular George Leach users.
Yeah.
We turn those two locker rooms over to our visitors. The home teams actually don't have a locker room. They have to change at home or
really?
In a meeting room or something like that.
I didn't know that.
Because we don't have
or that round room.
Yeah, the round room or the weight room or something. So we understand that that's not where we need to be, and in fact, it's a requirement of our membership in CIS that we upgrade the facilities. So we had originally planned to do this in the most economical way possible, and we thought, well, we'll do the minimum. Let's add the locker rooms that we're required to have under the rules. But as we started looking into how you do that and how it would work and what it would cost and so on, it occurred to us that, well, it might make sense if we're going to be involved in that kind of small construction project to extend it somewhat and to upgrade our facilities. There are lots of respects in which our athletic facilities could be improved, specifically with a view to encouraging more students to use them for personal fitness as opposed to varsity things and so on.
Hmm.
So we're looking at a plan that would see us expand the facilities at the George Leach in a way that I think would make it a much more usable facility for a larger number of students.
Nice.
And connected with that, since you're asking, well, what might look different and so on.
Okay.
When we built R4, we located it where we did because you may have noticed that there are those old tennis courts there.
Yeah.
When I arrived here, it was very interesting. Those tennis courts were actually hidden by a bunch of freight containers. What do they call them? The sea cans? I think they're currently over in the northwest corner of the parking lot. You've probably
Okay.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah, those
But
big things.
They were sitting right there in front of these tennis courts, so you didn't know the tennis courts were there. And of course, behind the tennis courts, there's a pond.
Really?
Ah, good for
yeah.
you. Really? Yeah, and that was the point. So I would say to people, you're a new guy. You sort of show up and you walk around. You're kind of investigating. Okay, so what have we got here? And you think, whoa, look at this.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful pond on the back end of the campus with a nice path beside it that leads out to Shannon Road and the park behind and all that.
I walk that path all the time, and I've seen that.
Well, this is gorgeous, but
never seen that.
But we never spend any time there because it's hidden by, first of all, tennis courts have the big green walls around them, and then the big garbage cans in front and all of that kind of stuff. So I immediately thought, well, that's an asset that we need to develop. I can see a kind of gathering space here for students, because you notice we don't really have a spot on campus where people kind of sit around outdoors and enjoy themselves and so on. It's not landscaped for that.
Yeah.
We've got this great front lawn that rolls down to Queen Street. but it's so massive and
Nothing.
it looks nice, but it's not inviting.
No.
Yeah.
Like you never see
one-
anybody
no one goes-
sitting out there reading a book or
Yeah.
chatting with other people. I think we need that kind of space, and so I see this pond and I think, yeah. Now, imagine getting the right sort of landscaping, the right features, some benches and shrubs and all of that kind of stuff. Make it a really attractive place where people want to kind of sit out there with friends and talk a little bit. Maybe they throw a frisbee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have a sort of outdoor, vibrant center for people that makes the campus seem livelier. Because one of the things that strikes you when you come here and you walk around the campus is, where are all the people?
Yeah.
They're not hanging around outdoors, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously in the winter you're not going to see a whole lot of that anyway, but
Yeah.
I thought it had a lot of potential. So we did situate R4 so that it would be parallel to the leach. There would be a space created in between that could be landscaped to form this kind of park with the focus being the pond, which we would highlight, and good landscape architects know how to kind of really bring out the beauty in that feature and direct your eye toward it.
Yeah.
So we were going to do that until we hit this, okay, now we need to do some renovations to the George Leach.
Okay.
And how big are they going to be? And we're studying that. So we put the landscaping project on hold because we understood that, well, the last thing you want to do is do all your landscaping and then say, oh, geez, now we got to bring in the trucks and do the
Change it.
renovations to George Leach. So we're
yeah.
just,
Oh.
we're going to run over all
Yeah.
the grass we put in or rip out all the benches we put in or whatever
Yeah.
because now it's a construction site again.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever we do at the Leach, as we complete that in a year's time, we will then, I think, execute the landscape project. So I think what students are going to see at some point in the near future, won't be in September, but you're going to see that there's a very
Park.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
That sounds good.
or
I like that.
depending on how we
Excited.
set it up, a piazza or plaza or
Yeah.
something like that. And I think it'll be really striking and inviting. And the test of its success will be whether you can walk by there at any point in the day and see a bunch of people just hanging
relaxing.
around.
Yeah.
And the George Leach Center itself, like that's gonna be done in like a year. Well, you guys will be working on it, aiming for a year for its completion.
I'm trying to figure out, well, if we want to do this larger version of it, is that affordable? How much will it cost?
Yeah.
So, we've got professionals doing drawings, then we have to test the market and find out, okay, well, if we wanted to do this as opposed to something more modest, what would it cost?
Yeah.
So we're still at the study stage with that shortly and make a decision as to whether we're going with the most modest possible route or something that would be a little more substantial.
Cool.
I think that's exciting.
That is very
Yeah, it's
exciting.
very exciting.
I'm sorry, I'm not expressing because I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's exciting. Like,
Yeah.
I like that change a lot.
All right.
I got the next question.
Yep.
You asked the last one.
And then I think we're gonna go for a break.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is good. This is really good.
If I'm talking too much, just say,
No,
okay, that's
no, no.
Dr. Myers, stop
no,
right there.
no. That's good.
What is something that you do to inspire your staff, students, and university on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I think the most important thing is just to be visible and to listen to people.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
one of the things that I try to do is not hide in my office, but to wander around and see what's going on. And always, rule number one is always say hi to people.
Mhm.
And I try to do that certainly with every student I bump into in the corridor. And they're not surprised, they reciprocate, and I enjoy that very much. So I think you can do a lot just in terms of saying, well, so I'm the president, and I'm trying to set the tone that we should all be friendly and interested in each other and listen to each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I like that a lot.
Very good.
I like that a lot. Let's do a break right now and give us some music, and we'll come back.
All right. Stay
Great.
tuned.
Welcome back to the Aura radio station, everybody. What you just witnessed, what you just heard, was a musical interlude, actually played and performed for you by the president himself. Rick, I didn't know you were so culturally inclined, if you will. What else do you got? What else you got up your sleeve for us here, eh?
Well, there's more we can do at Algoma. Actually, seriously, one of the things that we're investigating is trying to revive Theatre Algoma. There was a very successful, as I understand it, a very successful theatrical troupe here called Theatre Algoma. There was a professor named Bob D'Amato who ran it for many years. When he retired, I think it kind of fizzled out and it doesn't formally exist anymore. But in fact, we've got a meeting scheduled for later this week with quite a range of faculty members and staff who are very keen to resurrect Theatre Algoma.
Really?
And I'm very anxious to help make that happen.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I was one of those students in high school who that was the subject I excelled at. And if we had it here, I don't know if I could open some doors, maybe. Get a couple looks, know what I mean? But yeah.
I wish I had more time to do that kind of stuff. Like, I really want to go back into drama. I used to do it in high school as well. Like, just at the end of high school.
Yeah.
When I realized I liked it, and I really regretted not doing it more in high school.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's
I
a
would
great
love to have it.
part of student life. So, from my point of view, okay, we put a lot of emphasis on varsity sports.
Mm-hmm.
And you also want to be emphasizing very different
Cultural.
sorts of things,
Yeah,
cultural things. And
more artistic.
Theater is just such a natural in a small university like ours. So
Yeah.
I make sure that we get that off the ground.
Also, it's so entertaining. Like, that's students going to see students. Like, that is student life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bingo, that's exactly it. So
Exactly.
you've got, a great activity for everybody who's involved.
Yeah.
Plus,
The people who know those people.
You bring everybody in to see the show, and
Yeah.
it's another one of those things that helps build community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Great.
Before we move on, with Bob Cooper and Celia Ross, they had like French play auditions.
Yeah.
And like everybody I told,
Yeah.
like, Caleb, I'm gonna come see you if you make the play. I was like, oh my god, okay.
I'll come see you.
It's that'd be cool. Okay, next question, John.
If you do,
Yeah.
we'll interview you on the radio
Oh,
as a star.
oh no, I might be kind of high up there. You might have to pay for this
Oh.
voice, John. I don't know
I
if you can
see.
afford me.
Talk to my agent.
Talk to my agent, okay?
That would be me.
Oh yeah, I was about to say.
He writes my jokes.
You write your jokes. All right, so we're gonna get into our next question. So here's a very big kind of question. Well, yeah, what is happening with Chartwell's contract? A lot of people know. Well, actually, in the Sentient, they had an article where they were saying that Chartwell's their contract was ending this year.
Right.
And so you just kind of want to know more about that.
What's going on with that
Anything you're-
situation?
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Oh, sure.
Anything you
No,
wanna-
very good question.
Yeah.
The contract does expire, I think, in August of this year. So we are already working on the whole process for going through, a kind of consideration of what we do next. And in fact, we'll be putting together a committee which will include, the VP Finance, Tom Morrow from Student Services. Obviously, we have a person from staff in mind, and we'll ask OSU to appoint a couple of students. And those folks will oversee the process of figuring out, where does the contract go next? As a matter of principle, I think, one has to go to market, as they say. So, we'll be preparing an RFP, a request for proposals. And any company that has an interest in the food services contract here will be eligible to put in an application. And that particular committee would then make a recommendation to me in terms of what we should do going forward.
Wow. Can I'm just
Yeah.
gonna leading
Go
on
ahead.
with this.
Yeah, go right ahead.
If this committee were to be formed and a new service or the same service chosen, that means we'd have like a whole new system going on in the cafeteria September, like come next September.
Well, I think one of the things that's interesting is that, as we pull together this request for proposals, it's an opportunity to define what sorts of services we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it will be a very important piece of work
Yeah.
by that group. And there will clearly be, as part of their mandate, some public consultations to try to ascertain, what sort of food services do we want provided for the next contract, which, these contracts typically go from whatever they recommend, 5 to 7 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an opportunity to think about, what are we doing right now? What might we want to do differently? And then you go to the market and say, okay, this is what we're looking for. Who would like to apply? And, show us what you've got.
Nice.
Now,
Sweet.
this might be thinking like a little bit too far ahead with that, but right now, and if we were to do this, they'd have only one as well. We only have one contract, like the one. What do you call Chartwell's, a catering service? Or
Catering service,
Yeah.
food service
So,
provider, whatever.
we only
Yeah.
have one
Mhm.
on campus.
Right.
We don't have anything else for food-related things. So all students that are on meal plan, or even students who are not on residence or whatever, they have to go there for food if they want to eat on campus. How far away are we from maybe getting like two separate things so we have more choice for students, like more like different
Yeah,
things?
no, that's a very good question, and that would be the kind of thing that I think this committee would want to sort out before they figure out, before they put down a description of what kind of proposal they're looking for. I think it's unlikely at a place this small that you would have more than one service provider, because
Right.
even the big places ultimately have only one at a certain level. But it would be feasible to stipulate that what we're looking for in the next contract is the following, and so it would be, it might be typical company like Chartwell's or some other company that provides a certain kind of service. But we could stipulate, if this is what people are after, that we would want them also to provide, a second vendor or a third vendor. And that's how it typically works. You would say to them, well,
So
I
it
don't
goes
want to use
through
a
them.
particular name, but you would say, in addition to your food,
Right.
we would like to have a, let's just call it generically a sandwich shop operated by one of the brand chains or something like that. So then the companies that want to apply would say, okay, so here's what we've got. We think we could have chain X or chain Y, providing this level of service. Maybe they come in once a week, or maybe there's a kiosk of something other than food from the service provider itself.
Yeah.
So whatever people think we should have, we
Yeah.
can go to market for that. But you have to be realistic as well. If we say that, okay, we would like the following, the companies may come back and say, oh yeah, we can do that, but it's going to cost a fortune. And the cost of your meal plan
Arm
is
and a
going to
leg.
triple.
Yeah.
Because we'll say, of course, that we'll
That's
have
not-
certain expectations in terms
Yeah.
of what the costs might be.
And a big reason to come to Algoma is because it's so affordable. And if we
You don't want
if
to.
if we change all that just for food, it's a little
Yeah.
yeah.
So a very important process. I'm glad you raised that, because, as I say, we'll certainly have a couple of students on that relatively small committee. But the critical thing will be that we'll expect them to consult very broadly and get as much feedback as they can. Maybe
Yeah.
do some focus groups or something to find out. What do you like? What don't you like? What should we be looking for in the new contract? How much would you pay for that? And all that kind of stuff, so they can figure out what should we be asking for.
I think it's gonna be very good to have a committee, to
Yeah.
organize all that and
Yep.
figure it all out. It's gonna be really good, I think.
I like it a lot. Also, just for me personally, sometimes on a Sunday I get up kind of late and the cafe's already closed, so maybe I'll check it out.
Hey, take it to the committee, because I think part of what you'd have to put, and the RFP would be a fairly complex document where
Yeah.
you specify we're looking for the following things,
Yeah.
and one of the elements would be the hours of service,
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's very I've heard.
and
a lot
not
of
just
things.
the hours of service during the week, but then what's the service going to be in the summer.
yeah,
And it's all a function
Yeah.
of, if you tell them, we want full service, from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m., 364 days out of the year. Every one of them will say, oh, yeah, we can do that. But, the more you ask for, the higher the price.
okay,
So we have to be careful to figure out, well,
Yeah.
what are the priorities, and, what's really important, what are we willing to pay for?
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. I like that. Going forward, I'm confident that that's a good process. This committee that you put for, that's happening.
Yes.
I like it a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, that's in process.
All right. So you have our last
Next
question.
question. This is just for all my drivers out there. I don't live on res, but my friends who drive. Oh, sorry, I do live on res, but my friends who have to drive into school and who haven't bought a bus pass. I mean a parking pass. Why are the parking pass or parking prices to get in and out of parking lots? It's a lot of P's in one sentence. It's just dribbling. Why is the price so expensive?
Well, I guess what people often don't appreciate is that parking lots cost money.
Really?
And, yeah. So we'll do a little, business 101 on parking lots. So first of all, to build the parking lot and pave it costs a heck of a lot of money. And what you do is you borrow that money, you get a mortgage to pay for it, and then, over 20 years, you pay the bank back for your parking lot by using the money you collect for parking fees. That parking lot wasn't out there. It didn't just fall from the sky.
Yeah.
We had to buy it with a 20-year mortgage. So
Wow.
one of the things that you're paying for with parking fees is, the cost of building it. The other thing in Sault Ste. Marie that contributes quite heavily to the cost of parking is snow removal.
Oh,
It costs a
probably
heck of
is.
a lot of money to keep that lot cleared in the winter. And of course, you look for the revenues from the parking lot to pay the snow removal company.
Yeah.
So that's what the reason why we have fees. Interesting that you raise the question because, of course, I think probably at most universities people would have a sense that parking is kind of like a cash cow for the administration. That's where they're making all the big profits and so on.
Yeah.
We actually lose money on parking.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I I don't know if we're the only university in Canada that loses money on parking, but we are actually spending more to operate that parking lot than we're taking in. In budgetary terms, the objective would be we'll set the parking fees so that it pays for itself.
Yeah.
I think we had the right fees in place the last couple of years, but we've actually, last year you may recall, there was just a heck of a lot of snow, and our
Yeah.
bill for snow removal was way higher than we thought it was going to be. So in the end, even last year we lost money on parking.
Wow.
So the idea is, it should pay for itself because ultimately, if the parking lot users aren't paying for the cost of the parking lot, then we take it out of general revenues, which means that you're actually paying for it. And you might say to yourself, well, wait a second. I don't have a car and I live in residence. Why am I paying for Bob's parking?
Yeah.
Or you might say, well, I had to pay for a bus pass and I don't use the parking lot. So why should I subsidize Bob's parking, but nobody's subsidizing my bus pass? You know what I mean?
That's very true.
So the principle that you try to use is people should pay for their own stuff, and the parking lot surprisingly does actually cost a fair bit of money.
Wow. I had no idea.
Me too. I
I
was
thought it
like,
was just like a piece of land. I was just, that's cool.
well, I mean,
I'm serious.
It is
Like-
a piece of land.
Well, yeah, but like I
There was
thought
some
it was,
asphalt on it and some lights and gates and all that other kind of stuff. Yeah, it adds up.
yeah. Okay. Now that
Yeah.
like before, I just thought it was
It's good to
just
know.
like,
Like,
Anyway, the one thing I can promise you guys and anybody who's listening is that we're not gouging anybody. As I say, it's sort of embarrassing to say this. We're actually losing money on our parking lot.
okay.
wow.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, from the viewers and from
Thank you for losing money.
no. Thank you for saving me money.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
Keep it in my pocket. Stay comfortable.
Okay.
My goodness. We've had a blast in the booth today with you. Asking these questions.
Yeah, me too. This is great. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Oh no, sir. We
Okay.
we wouldn't want to stress your schedule.
You're a very busy man, we know.
But on a real note, thank you a lot for coming in. I know you're just here to use the washroom, and we just kind of pulled you in.
Yeah.
It's been an hour now.
You must be really excited to get it. Well, yeah.
Anyways.
We were actually wondering. We thought this up during the break. Do you think it'd be possible for you to come in, say, in 3 weeks? And
Oh, I'd be delighted to. This
Talk
is
to
a
us
lot of
again.
fun, and certainly one of the things that you should always do when people want to chat with you. Say absolutely, just name the time.
awesome, amazing.
Well, the time is 3 weeks, so.
And
Great.
Listeners out there, we'll let you know exactly what time and how to submit more questions to us. Thank you so much for listening. You are in the booth with. You have to say your name. Yes,
That was my cue.
That was
your
your cue.
Rick
Yep.
Myers, president of Algoma University.
Oh yeah, Rick Myers. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
All right, so that's all the time we got for today. Thank you for tuning in to Algoma U Radio, The Aura. Catch us next Sunday for another exciting podcast. I'm John.
And I'm Caleb. Stay true. Algoma U.